Hello, this is Monique McDonald. And if you're looking for more one-on-one help with your voice and how to make it magnetic, I want to invite you to check out my coaching packages at themagneticvoice.com. Then click Transform with Monique and book a complimentary connection call. Let's see if we can find a package for you that will fit all of your needs. I'm so grateful for your listening to the Magnetic Voice podcast, and I can't wait to meet you and continue the conversation. Take care. See you soon.
Welcome to the Magnetic Voice, here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel, a show where speakers and singers learn how to be more magnetic and align their voices to the divine within. Today, episode 76, The Biology of Belief. And now your host, Monique McDonald.
Hello, and welcome to the Magnetic Voice podcast. My name is Monique McDonald, and I am here with the lovely Shannon Kropf, and we're so excited to be here with you today. Hey, Shannon.
Hi, Monique. Great to see you, in virtual beauty.
Super excited to be here with you and Dave as well, our lovely producer, Dave.
Yes.
I cannot believe it's November already.
I know. And not the beginning of November either. We're trucking on through it.
We're trucking on through it. We are. It is my favorite time of year.
Oh, yeah.
Here in New York, the leaves are changing, and it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. And it's been quite unseasonably warm.
Really?
Just started to get cold like a few days ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. October was really like an Indian summer up here. So it's been lovely.
And as I've said many times, I sure do miss the leaves changing and having a fall. And so I'm just going to enjoy it vicariously through you.
Oh, yay. So today I was reading a really interesting book.
Okay.
Called The Biology of Belief.
Okay.
And it is written by cell biologist Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton.
Okay.
And it debunks the myth that our genetic inheritance, or the genes that we have inherited, create our life.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the idea that a woman, for example, whose parents both died of cancer is more likely to also die from cancer.
Right.
That genetic predisposition doesn't have to lead directly to disease or
Well, that's
whatever.
Good news,
Isn't
right?
It is good news, and it's a really interesting thing. It's one of my favorite things where I feel like science is finally catching up to ancient beliefs.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So epigenetics is the field of study that talks about environment having the most effect on our gene activity.
Right.
In other words, what we believe and what we say has as much to do with how our genes express themselves as what the genetic predisposition is.
Right.
So it is a I guess controversial idea, but the more we understand about quantum physics and the more we're able to actually create instruments that lets us observe it,
Right.
we get to see that beginning at the cellular level, if we are expressing loving, nurturing, and collaborative expressions and creating those kinds of environments, our body, which is a collection of cells, responds. So it's this whole idea of what we think about the most expresses.
Right. What, our thoughts become reality. Right?
And that, exactly. And that nature and nurture are subservient to the conscious mind.
Right.
Ha ha ha. Now, this is something I've been talking about for years.
Sure.
You are what you think, and thoughts become things. And especially working with speakers and singers, if you go for the high note and you are thinking to yourself, this is going to suck, I'm never going to hit it. What the hell was I thinking of? Becoming a singer. Everybody's going to see me that I don't know what I'm doing. And odds are you're going to miss the high note.
Right.
Because that's what you've been thinking. If you change your thoughts to, I love my high notes.
Right.
It's so much. Why is it so much fun to sing high notes? Obviously technique comes in there at some point as well. But,
sure, of course. Well, that's part of, you have to use your mind to decide that you need to increase your technique, right? So it's all the same.
Exactly. Exactly. And one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Lipton is, when the mind perceives that the environment is safe and supportive, our cells become preoccupied with the growth and maintenance of the body.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And, the other thing that he talks about, which I think is really, really interesting, is he talks about the first 7 years of a human being's life is when our perceived limitations are born.
Interesting.
So that's when he talks about being in the state of theta, which is kind of like the hypnosis state.
Sure.
And
yeah. Like the flow state?
You've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's the conscious awake state, right? And then there's the sleeping state. And theta is that time when you're just about to fall asleep.
Right.
Or when you first start to wake up.
Mm-hmm. I love that state.
I know.
I would stay there if I could figure it out.
Yeah, he says that it's the place where imagination and the subconscious meet.
Right. That makes total sense.
And when, from 0 to 7 years old is when that state is most active.
Interesting.
And so basically we make decisions about life
Right.
at that age. Our subconscious, we make decisions. And so I've been thinking a lot about this because I think I told you I became certified. I'm one of 10 people in the world that is certified in this particular mode of healing. It's called conscious transformational coaching.
Right.
And I've rebranded it to my brand, which is reclaiming your voice of power.
Right.
Because it's usually in those times when we're that young and that impressionable, where whatever the life experience is, it happens, whatever's happening in the moment, it's happening too fast, or it's too painful, or you don't know what's going on. And so you literally kind of split apart.
Interesting.
So you survive the moment. You give your voice, your power away, because what else are you going to do when you're between the ages of 0 and 7 years old?
You don't have a whole lot of options.
Right? And so what happens is whatever goes on in your life experience, and because you are in this very open state between imagination and where the imagination and the real world are becoming one and the same, we make decisions like speaking up is dangerous.
Right.
If every time you open your mouth, you are slapped.
Right.
Right? So it just gets programmed in.
Right.
And it's part of our subconscious, and there doesn't seem to be much we can do about that.
Gotcha. Right.
And so what is so interesting about Dr. Lipton's work is he talks about, for example, affirmations. We've all been taught about the law of attraction and affirmations. And if you say it enough, it will become true. And what Dr. Lipton says is, if you're consciously saying those wonderful divine things, but your subconscious is like saying, hey, that's not true.
Right.
When I was 5 years old,
right,
blah, blah happened, and I coded that as it is not safe to be successful because the kids at school hated me when I had all the right answers.
Right.
Or whatever it is. There's this disconnect between what our conscious mind says we want and what our subconscious has learned or has programmed in from those years.
Right. That makes sense.
And so what we do is we go back to those moments and reclaim them. And I've been watching this happen with my clients, and it's really an interesting thing, because I'm really just facilitating the session.
Sure.
And their wise, intuitive higher self comes up with whatever is the event or memory that we're going to resolve. Because what happens is, no matter how much therapy you do, no matter how much life you've lived that may take you down different paths, there are fundamental things and fundamental limitations that were created in that very tender age that is running the show that most of us don't even realize. We just understand that things aren't working the way we want them to, even though we're doing everything we think we should be doing.
Right.
And sometimes it's trauma, and sometimes it's mild things that we just didn't understand what was happening, and so we made meaning of them.
Right.
And so what that leaves behind is what we call mental and emotional trash. We lovingly call it trash.
Right.
And we, as we grow and become adults, we work on certain parts of whatever the event was in therapy, or going to our spiritual leader, or however we work on these things. But there's always some debris left over. That show up as limiting beliefs.
Right.
And so what we do is we go back and reclaim those moments. And it is the most amazing thing that I've ever witnessed. I've been on a search all my life for releasing these old beliefs and patterns and habits so that we can be fully present in the moment as singers and speakers. And that's what I work with all my clients on. And so this is a really very cool process of clearing the instrument.
Right.
So that when you show up in the present moment, you are not being sabotaged by your subconscious.
Right.
So basically, I am taking people through this process, and if whatever the memory or event is that comes up for resolution is, let's say, 8 or 9 on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm watching watching this happen, that by the end of the session, I ask them, okay, so where in your body are you uncomfortable around this event? And they're like, nowhere.
Nice.
What emotions are you feeling concerning this event? Nothing. So the numbers are going from 8 to 9 of discomfort to 0 to like, what event? Like they can barely remember what we were working on.
Oh, that's great.
It is such an interesting, it's such an interesting process. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of this because we don't know what it is. And so many of us are spending so much time trying to figure out what the event was.
Right.
And why are we this way? And talk therapy, which is great.
Sure. Yeah.
But it takes longer.
Right.
Because talking about it, although is good, a lot of times, if you're talking about the same event for years, you're just re-traumatizing yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what we call opening a bag of trash. So we don't ever talk about it.
Right.
The conversation is between, the person and the person.
Right.
So I never hear what's going on. I'm just guiding them through. And I just am so grateful. I'm just watching the work where people are just, their lives are being changed.
Yeah.
And we're able to help them flourish in ways that they didn't even imagine. And because it's remnants of quote unquote trash from these traumatic events, they're not aware, like it's subconscious.
Right.
So they don't, and I call it the wise intuitive higher self. We call on the wise intuitive higher self to bring up the event or memory that we're going to work on.
Yeah.
So that's really code for the subconscious, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
So, because one of the things that Dr. Lipton says is that we are born fully whole beings. And that's why those first years are so precious to every human being. I don't know. When I see kids now, I think of it, I see them in a completely different way with this new understanding. So have you had any experience with this, Shannon?
Actually, I'm remembering when you were training for this, we sort of did a test session with this.
That's right, we did.
And I feel like and this makes total sense the way you've been describing it, we kind of stumbled across this thing.
That's right.
That I had to sit and have an internal conversation with somebody, and it took a minute, it wasn't like, oh yeah, okay, done and dusted, woohoo. But it was really incredible. Like, I, just like you're saying, by the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm over it, The closest thing I've ever experienced to it is the EMDR. I always say it wrong because EDM is electronic dance music, and that's the world I live in. But the other thing where you have the alternating stimulus,
That's right. Yes.
I had a therapist take me through a situation with that, and I was flabbergasted that by the end I was like, okay, this kind of sucks that this happened, but I don't have anger or anything. So it was very much like that shortcut type of a feel to it. It's like, no, this is too good to be true. Come on, man. But it was. It was incredible.
Funny. Yeah, and it's so, and that is my little pleasure amongst many, getting to help people with this. But it's really fun to watch the mind trying to scramble.
Oh yeah,
trying to figure out, wait, what happened? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. I don't even remember what we were doing that stumbled backwards into this, bag of trash.
And I love that you don't even remember, and we don't need to talk about it because it's done.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm just really excited about, and I forgot, that's right, I gave you a sample session.
Yep.
And so I'm going to put in the program notes, if anybody's interested in doing a sample session with me, just go to themagneticvoice.com/appointments, and it's a Reclaim Your Voice of Power session, and sign yourself up, and we'll see how this works for you. I think it's something that is really really essential, especially in this time with everything that's going on in the world right now. There is stress in the air.
Yes, in a way that has not been my experience in the past. And I've been plenty stressed plenty of times, but there's there's something going on. Sorry, it's going to tangent off into something else. But yeah, it's so needed. And
this is something that I'm really excited about. We're in November, the month of Thanksgiving. And so normally I only sell these sessions in a package of 12 sessions. So because that's really, it's either 3 to 6 months to really get all the trash out of the mental and the emotional kitchen, because life continues to happen.
Of course.
So there's still going to be trash, but it's not going to be
like,
as much, and you won't just clean this up. Yeah. So that's what I want to do for the people within the sound of my voice. Come and sign yourself up. I really, it's my way of giving back this month. It's something very, very unusual and
very cool.
I'm super excited about it.
You didn't even remember that we did it. So it's not like we planned that I'm going to give a testimonial. I mean, it's just really cool, you guys. Try it.
Yes. And let's give I have also in the program notes a link to Dr. Lipton's book, The Biology of Belief, which I think it would just be such a great resource for you to take a look at this for yourselves. And we all have the choice to create positive changes in our lives. That is a direct quote of Dr. Lipton. And what I know about choice is when we have choice, when we realize that we have choice, we are empowered.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are such powerful beings. We don't even realize that we have power over our own biology, over our cells. And so today I invite you all to just think about loving up all those 72 trillion gazillion cells in your body. Thank you, Shannon. Always a pleasure.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So I invite you to release whatever has come before this now moment and relax into yourself. Allow your eyes to close. And feel the body receiving the air. And watching your body release the air easily as you exhale. And again, allowing your body to expand to receive the inhale. And gently allowing the air to flow through you as you exhale. And in this moment with me, I invite you to imagine yourself as trillions of cells. Trillions of receptors vibrating, receiving. You are a being that is a master receiver. And as we tune ourselves to every cell of our body, I invite you to send each cell all the love, all the joy, all the acceptance, all the beauty in your heart now. Send it to each and every one of your cells and feel yourself responding with each cell of your body to these images of love and light and joy and beauty. Feel every cell in your body smiling as they receive your love, your acceptance, opening to the divine, to all the joy and love and beauty and acceptance that is flowing from the entire world, the entire universe, and fill every cell of your body with joy, love, your own divine soul energy, filling each and every cell until each cell is full to overflowing. And give thanks, knowing that you are the sum of all of your thoughts and all of your beliefs, all of the words, all of the feelings, every inch of your body. We now call together in alignment so that your subconscious is aligned with your conscious. You are pure energy vibrating, tuning itself to the source of all there is, where there is only love. And as you breathe and know yourself, as a master receiver of all the divine light and love in the world, we give thanks. We give thanks for the knowledge and understanding of who we truly are and whose we truly are. And so it is.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Magnetic Voice here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. This channel is made possible because of listeners just like you. If you would like to support the channel with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Magnetic Voice is copyright 2022 Monique McDonald, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Kropf and used with permission. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.
Hey friends, Sean here, your Experience of the Soul producer. I want to take a moment to tell you about something truly exciting. The Soulworks online community, created by your host, Cynthia Alice Anderson, and available on the Mighty Networks app. If you're looking for a place where you can explore your spiritual path, connect with others, and grow in a meaningful way, then this is for you. Soulworks is so much more than an online community. It's a safe, inclusive space for spiritual exploration, self-discovery, and personal transformation. Inside the community, you'll find everything from uplifting spiritual studies to soul-centered growth practices, meditations, affirmations, and so much more. It's a space where you'll always be supported and never judged. The best part, membership is free. You'll have access to powerful resources, inspiring content, and a supportive group of like-minded people who are all on their own unique spiritual journeys. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there are premium options available to enhance your experience with a live Monday night talk series and extended, deeper meditations. If you're seeking a place to connect, grow, and nurture your soul, we would love to have you join us in the Soulworks community and see where this journey can take you. Visit my.soulworkscommunity.com today.